And there's one more important thing to mention about UM coverage, and we've talked about that will protect you in the event that the person who hits you does not have coverage or does not have adequate coverage. There is a thing what's called stacked UM coverage. And basically what that means is it's also very, very cheap. It's probably the best bang for your buck. If you have UM coverage, you select that. You will also have another option of whether you want to stack coverage or not. Now, if you only have one vehicle under the policy, you don't need to stack it. But for example,
why don't you define stacking so the public can understand?
And stacking eventually is, for an example, if you, your wife, and you have two 16, 17-year-olds that live at the house and they each have their own car, or you have two cars and your wife has a car and you have a kid who has a car, if you stack your UM coverage, think about it as actually stacking the coverage on top of each other. So if you only have $10,000 worth of UM insurance and you choose I want to stack this coverage, and you have 4 cars, you've just increased your coverage from 10,000 to 40,000 because you have 4 cars on there.
That's exactly.
So if you do have a situation where you own multiple cars, or have a big household where a lot of people drive separate cars, that's another option that you really want to consider, is to stack your coverage.
And it's cheap, right? Because just because you have 4 cars and you've chosen the stacking option doesn't mean that the premium is quadrupled. It just simply, it's just unbelievably inexpensive relative to the benefit that you receive. So you think you're saving money in the short run, but it's going to be very costly in the long run should you ever need it.
Well, and I think the people need to also understand that your insurance is always going to be used, because the first $10,000 of benefits are from your carrier, whether you're the passenger in another vehicle,
right, for the PIP,
whether you're the driver of a vehicle. Your PIP is always going to pay. And we have many clients who are frustrated because they say that they're not at fault. Why should their insurance have to pay? And why?
Florida law, that's why.
It's the law.
It's the law.
And in many cases, if there's uninsured coverage, you want it to pay, because if your injuries are more than the coverage the other person has, you want to make sure that you get compensated.